Sorry, folks. I've never come across this before. Haven't a clue whether this is going to work or not. Good morning, in the hope that it is working. For some reason, the main computer, which facilitates Mirador television, simply lost contact with the camera, the microphone, and everything else. It seemed to have a nightmare in the middle of the night, or somebody was trying to tap into it, because we did have a notice to say somebody, Scarborough or something, had tried. It wasn't the Russians. Hopefully, we are broadcasting live. I'm a little bit nervous about that. We tried going onto the laptop, not laptop, the iPad. It didn't want to know at all. Oh gosh, no. And here, I actually yesterday ranted and raved about the new legislation, which is going to cut down on the amount that can be said on the internet, the information that can be passed on, etc., etc. I'm not bothered. It is all so confusing that and up in the air and so on. The average person certainly wouldn't want to know what it's all about. So we just have managed. I sent a note to Fergus Woods, who would normally be on with us this morning, and I can't say that I know whether Fergus can actually get back on because of everything that's happened. So I do apologise to him. Oh, dear. So my apologies, and everything else has gone wrong as well. Just complete and utter disaster. Complete and utter disaster. And really, for once, it's not us. It's the system. Oh, dear. Dear. Forgive me if I'm looking down and trying hard to sort of do things, but nothing, absolutely nothing is working. And it's all, I think it must be a power surge or something overnight, because it was certainly working when I went to sleep last night. I was okay. So in some ways, I may as well not be here, unless there are those amongst you who really do enjoy watching a man struggle. And that... I really have. I have no idea. Everything is going in circles, and there's nothing. That I'm just going to talk for a few minutes. That's the best that I can do. The news, of course, this morning will be, as usual, all about the war. One of the things that disturbs me is that in officialdom, and therefore the mainstream media is covering it, and that is they are saying the Ukraine war. It is the fact that bombs or missiles were fired within 12 miles of the Polish border, and it could easily spread over. And actually, the predictions are that it will spread over. It is right. I realise one of the things that I'm doing, and that is me. Well, at least it's still streaming, according to this. Right. Mickey Connors is saying it's hard for him to get onto the live this morning, so it's the system, not us. Thank goodness. Um, thank you, Mickey, for letting me know about that. Because after this very brief broadcast, what we can do is, it's 9:10. This is ridiculous, or thereabouts anyway. I'm afraid that it will be very brief this morning because of all this nonsense that has taken me an hour not to resolve. The question that I've raised is people are saying the Ukraine war. And what I think that happens is in their mind, they've disassociated themselves with anything to do with the actual fighting. There is lots in the news about how we're going to look after refugees. There is lots how people are raising money, about how they're waving the flag, how concerts are being organized, and so on and so forth. But it all is dissociating itself with the fact that people are being bombed in the streets, shot at. There are at least 2 unreported deaths of Brits who went out there to join the Ukrainian forces. And there's this whole thing is as if it's a football match somewhere on the continent, and we're all looking forward to where it's the score is going to come 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, 4-2, and that is not healthy for us because if and I sincerely hope not, if Putin decides that his strategy of expansion is going to carry on over the Ukrainian borders, then we are going to be at war. And that is a very different picture to the one we've got at the moment. Okay, we're facing shortages and so on and so forth. Okay, the cost is going to go up. Okay, so Mickey Connor says, I have problems with people who stand up for something but don't really know what they're standing up for. Well, just in case you're having a go at me, Mickey, I don't think you are. Is essentially we are at war. But the mass population seem to think that it's something different. And it's all a question of semantics. That if you say things in a different way, it means that they don't exist or you don't have to embrace them. We are at war, whether we like it or not. No, we haven't been firing shots yet, but we could easily do. But even if we don't, the support for the Ukraine is going to mean that for some months we are going to. Thank you, Mickey. Mickey says, "I'm not having a go at you. I didn't really think you did. You were, Mickey, but I can sometimes sort of wander a little bit, and because I had this frustration this morning, I am tending to wander a bit. But really, let us accept the fact we're at war, and not start dilly-dallying around saying the Ukraine war. It's a war in Ukraine between Russia at the moment and the Ukraine people. But it is getting dangerously close to Poland. all the peripheral countries like Lithuania, Estonia, Latvia, and for that matter, down in the South Caucasus, Armenia, Georgia, could easily get sucked in. And so could we. I hadn't realized yet that, of course, if in fact, although he's got plenty of it, but if in fact Putin wanted oil fields or extra oil, the reason that the Nazis invaded Romania was because of their plentiful oil supplies. Now that could be again that he will attack somewhere because they've got a natural resource that he needs to keep up his advances. And believe me, he's not doing terribly well. According to the reports this morning, even though he does make advances by using missiles, is the Ukrainian military holding very well at the moment. Who's helping them? Not us. Well, we're sending bits and pieces. We're not helping them. The Americans, as usual, have decided to laissez-faire. They have no idea what the hell they're outside their own country it goes on. And as a consequence, the Ukrainians are more or less, or the EU is not touching it just yet. And as for NATO, I don't understand why it's there. It's the protection of Europe, but it's got to be wait until the other guy lands the first punch before it does anything. It seems to me to be a whole mishmash. Why don't we actually just come out and be bold enough and from the top say, we are at war. We are at war with the Russian Federation. Just the same as when we entered the war against Germany, it was because it invaded Poland. Is there any difference? I can't see it. And yet the approach is totally different. We're doing all sorts of things, sanctions and so on. So we got football clubs closing down because of it. We've got all sorts of people crying because it's not toilet paper yet, because things are short. Our social life is getting into a mess, and indeed it is. But basically, we're at war, and why not say it and then treat it accordingly? And I think if Boris and the guys in Westminster had got the guts, that's what they would say, and then we all know where we stand and we know what to get behind. For the moment, it's typical liberal dilly-dallying. A little bit of this and a little bit of that. And the opposition goes, boo, and everybody runs for cover. I didn't say that. I didn't do that. I would have. Yeah. Thank you very much. Okay. I've had my rant on a very, very bad morning, a very bad technical morning. I'll get the experts to sort it out. We did at least get in a little bit. And thanks, Mickey, for bearing with us. It's good to have you there. And I hope you realize this morning what I'm trying to say is it doesn't matter whether you're for the war, against the war, against violence or whatever. The fact is, sometimes, realistically, you have to face a certain condition, and we have to face the fact we're at war. Toodles.